What is up, Gemini's November 2025? So let's see how these messages work, because truly it gets a little confusing, not gonna lie. Because for October, I like recapping to see how we aced the month. For you, I wrote the best option is to keep moving forward. Take the risk that feels like you're losing something. Offer your energy. What makes us feel like we almost lost something? Find appreciation now. Then I wrote on watching the video again recently. Have patience. Gemini. Have patience. You feel like you haven't been able to close the gap or handle or mend the situation. The right conditions are forming. Don't lose your self-trust. The Zen mentality helps. Trust that you'll know. So this versus take the risk that feels like you're losing something. And then the risk could feel like just trusting you'll know and not seeking out information, not trying to find or gather information. That could be what would be taking the risk that feels like you're losing something, not being in the know or not caring to know the consequence that could be. Like, what if? Not worrying about the what if, you know? Because as long as you offer your true energy, it's like you have to let go of the risk. Or be able to take the risk that feels like you're losing something. So what makes us feel like we almost lost something versus have patience. The conditions are forming. The right conditions are forming. Don't lose self-trust, right? How does that, compare? Trust that you'll know versus take the risk that feels like you're losing something is pretty confusing. And for Virgo's video, it was mostly like having the ride out, in the dark when the situation is a new way to bet on yourself. Like, So let's see, hopefully that shed some light to your month, the month of October. How it made sense for me, Gemini. I'm a Gemini. I have a Gemini moon, so there are some things I definitely felt that was, I look back, I definitely risked a lot. Effortlessly just risked a lot. Communicating things clearly, making sure this is clearly communicated. Yeah, this is what I feel, 100%. That definitely would feel like a risk to other people. So, and what was said? Oh yeah, it was a big old risk that I took. So, and for November, nice to see that. This is the beauty of betting on yourself, trusting your character, trusting that your personality actually works. Who you are, the timing you take is actually necessary. So, beautiful. Another indicator. Present energy, another indicator that, hey, me being in my energy, me, accepting this hard work and accepting this hardcore trust that comes with this hard work on yourself. You want to feel like this, without the money, before the check comes in, because the work, your character is rich. The challenge, here's the challenge. This is your card, Lovers. It's like a mindset I always have is when you get on board with something, the lane forms in front of you. Your pathway forms in front of you. When you bet on yourself, I feel so truly in tune with yourself. Trusting of your character despite the information you would take in, right? Societal lenses. It's a serious chemical process that goes on inside that detail number one. Makes you feel disconnected sometimes, right? I'm so glad I read a little bit of astrology, cherry pick the information I need. For instance, the Aquarian age. Well, this is detail number 2. And detail number 3, before I get back to that whole Aquarian age situation, is I believe we may just, in some area, feel disconnected. I'm not trying to be an astrologer, but, you know, the remedy to this Aquarian age, I read in a book, was like, you know, the Aquarian age is all about groups. You know, Piscean to Aquarian age, they're not really on board with the person with the identity for the self. You know, they don't like the self. People who express for themselves, feel for themselves, you know, Leo, right? Trust their identity and their soul, their depths, their creativity against masses and structure and stuff. You know, that's a necessary experience. It's going to be a necessary flavor every time you take a bite of life, you know. So expect to feel that I'm not felt. It's a necessary jump. It's just your body getting more accustomed to the cold pool you just jumped into, the cold air you gotta feel outside, cold shower. It's like, yep, I'm okay, that's a necessary flavor. Yep, taste that disconnection I feel. Riding it out, still riding this wave of disconnection. It's like a light, a charge you're just putting out for the right vibe. You know, you go through your day. I went through the work day. Still drawing. So this is what's affecting you. I'll explain. It's all explaining at the same time. We go through the day. I pay attention to what I worry about, you know, details about people here or there. Oh, what does it mean about my relationship to them? What does it mean about me and relating to them? What does it mean about me in relationships? And then I shut up, and I stay focused on the task. Then things will happen that day, in a sense, answer the question. If I pay attention, it answers the question for me. You know, how people see you. Doesn't matter, but I had this realization with, I forgot what sign. Bottom line, it was about, I can't let my observations, might have been Virgos, I'm not letting the observations, good or bad, influence. You know, I read this in Zen books, you know, Eastern philosophy books, you know, it's looking past the good or the bad that you would want to attach to and feel happy for, the ride the roller coaster for, feeling great, feeling high off this. This is the right mentality, the mentality available, which goes back to, yeah, I'm away from both of it. The good, the awesome, I'm just experiencing, keeping it going. Outcome. And yes, that is Pluto, if I'm correct. The Judgment card does represent Pluto. And it's funny because this goes back to what I think about with people and groups. I said it like that. You know, when you feel disconnected, I may put out, oh, it's suppressing. I have to suppress, or this situation has me suppressing who I am. but it's also accepting that as another flavor too. Like, you'll also feel disconnected in a sense, like someone suppressing or blocking out your expression, right? But it's really you not allowing the day to speak to you. You're blocking out the information of the day with your idea of information, your narrow-minded, this means this, that means that. You know, we all know this. The books teach this. And Virgo is the best outcome. The Hermit is the best outcome. Virgo's messages and your messages, I believe, because, well, my chart, right, definitely helps me see it. When I go to Virgo's message, I'd be like, it's damn near something I should apply to the Gemini, the moon message, my moon sign. I know I'm explaining the reading and at the same time talking about me. And then you have challenge, best outcome. Birth Mercury, right? But the point of the message is balance you see outside off you being the proof. I am the proof. How I feel is the proof. That's why. Who I am is why this is the outcome. Playing the game the right way. The risk of having to represent, yes, this is how I am, this is how I feel. Truly, yes, into my decisions. So it does mean we kind of move with needing approval or some sense of, all right, they're not going to be upset if I do this. Okay, good. You know, it waters down the effect. It waters down the taste a little bit. You know. But just know, hey, you are the proof. You literally, the best mentality available. This is good, you know, yet we're professional. We show up, do the work called being our truest self in the situation that is cooking us, because that is where the chemical reactions are at. What's affecting you is the Six of Swords in this position. Funny, this was the outcome for Taurus, and this is what's affecting you in this position. So, for Taurus's message, could I say it's not really the same as yours in that they're looking at their foundation. It's like, or some people that are around, they reveal the foundation. Like, you help people see how faulty, unnecessarily sensitive they are to their expressions or foundations. Or Taurus will have to be a light for those people to actually face what they truly feel about their foundation to themselves. So, and then with your message, Gemini, you know you'll feel disconnected, yet you'll accept the flavor of what comes with your meal of being yourself. The meal of being yourself, or producing the best meal of yourself. You gotta taste those flavors. You gotta ride out this cooking process that may irritate you, which means you expressing yourself is a chore. You know? So this is the best outcome. I don't believe it's about staying to yourself. I believe it's about tapping into that part of yourself and that having the solutions to act on and shit. That's what I really believe. Not being stuck in the battle of having to, okay, this is how I feel. I'm about to jump. Hey, I'm already in there. You gotta be this way before you jump in the pool anyway. Fuck it, I'm about to jump. I'm about to be cold and get adjusted. I know it's that fucking simple. So it's all about, remember, So we can't look at the good or bad. So the fool is the best mentality because it's all a new experience, right? All a different direction, all a new direction. And I believe this being in this position, judgment in reverse, upright, you have fully understood, had the experience that will break your first, it breaks your reality, it breaks your idea of what you thought you were in. It's like realization, right? It decrumbles this strongly believed idea of yourself. And I'm looking at it like that. In reverse, though, that's the process still being allowed to be chewed through. So Gemini may mean you're definitely going to need to understand. You are the answer. And will you see indicators of that being true? Judgment in that position does talk about it's so many things. Because it's more like, because we still in a sense look back to see, was that the right decision? Damn, how they act. Oh man. You are the pilot. Judgment in this position, I'm not clarifying it yet. It's like life is really trying to see where our breaking points are at. So, but me giving you these words, I'll clarify it because I know. Because it means, in a sense, you're still trying to make sure or see this is beautiful. Because it really helps you see your mentality. I want to be this way, but this way, this way, and this way. It's all okay. And this is a problem because you're like, it could be good because you're like, yeah, I got this part of me, but I understand. The problem would really be, because it's when you keep looking back, yeah, I feel like this won't be accepted, so this is clearly an issue. But you could hold it down and see the positive. I actually think this is a decent combination right here, because once you have that detached acceptance, this is why I need to use these colors. But the problem is, it's like you may keep jumping back to making sure it's allowed. You have to fight that. You have to fight that, like, and that's beautiful. So, very beautiful. So it means you feel how you feel, how you feel, how you feel, because you feel how you feel, how you feel, how you feel. That is it. So let me turn off this fucking camera, because the best outcome, Hermit is good if you could tap in and go, that's exactly where I'm holding myself back. Okay, let's unpause the game, get right back in. Hold it down still, hold it down still. So once the Hermit is necessary because you'll go back in and go, okay, I'm allowing myself to second guess myself because I'm checking in with myself when I could just stay outside and let myself be cooking, be trusting, and feeling good wearing myself. So the challenge is you, but yet you already, and this is what's scary about the game. Now Pluto, and I just talked about this being detached, right? So one dimension Aquarius. And I wrote for Scorpio and Aquarius. I'll even read their quotes, actually. Yes. New ability comes by fighting to get over yourself, to be there emotionally for other people. Use the tension, yet be detached from yourself. Like during the tension, right? In tension, being detached while in the tension. In the tension of something. The problem is perceiving yourself as against others instead of simply giving patience, giving space, giving patience. This patience can be a new form of detachment that stops emotional energy. That's for Scorpio. And then for Aquarius, I wrote, accept being in the dark about people, relax and persevere with your own lenses and personality. What connection are you persevering with? Feeling disconnected is part of the process or system. Just trust in the dark. Leave space for the truth after you rant. Still leave space for the truth. Feel how you feel, but still find out the truth. Give space or patience to people to be themselves. Give people the patience or space to be themselves. Freedom, right? Forgive me, Gemini, for going in so much, but I feel like that's necessary because, it's the same thing when you look at it, a different situation, but then you look at yourself and you're like, why is it so different here? It should be the same thing as well. I know you're thinking this much just to stop thinking, having the right thoughts, the right focuses to understand, to trust. You may check in. It's going to be a reaction to check in. Information is, can't help it. But the beautiful thing is using information of yourself to stop this process. Real information, real knowledge. And to stay in this trust. And accept feeling like this, yet knowing this is the right action. This is the movement that is creating. And this is part of the process, so no need to trip. So hopefully you're able to watch this video and write a simple quote or sum it up, a simple phrase to help you through your day, or just give me a second, I'll do that for you. But it is hard to see how would I come to these understandings with those two quotes. Like, they're really two different understandings of the video. So take the risk that feels like you're losing something, Gemini. And then over here, to have the Zen mentality. I'll read it again before I cut off this video. So I wrote, have patience. You feel like you haven't been able to close the gap or mend the situation. The right conditions are forming. So taking the risk that feels like you're losing something versus allowing the right conditions to just form in the meantime. Helps you not lose self-trust and trust that you'll know eventually. Versus taking the risk that feels like you're losing something. It's crazy. So maybe that's how my videos may work. You may have to watch it one time in the beginning, give it a week or two, watch it again. It's almost like I'm saying you got to keep watching my videos to just to benefit more and more and more for the month. Like, literally. That's all I'll say, Gemini. But I like going back to we're in the Aquarian age. They say age of Aquarius, right? So these things are things we should expect to experience, and that way we can overcome these obstacles. Because we know what it will feel like initially. Trying to make being a trailblazer normal. With all these conformists, But it is helpful because it's a hurdle that you'll be able to jump over. So we need hurdles because we need things to jump over. So technically, feeling a little restricted because of the environment, or I might not match the environment, could be risky, but we're able to jump over this hurdle now. So I gotta appreciate these challenges. They actually are making us better. Later, Geminis, they're the messages for November 2025.